All right, everybody. Welcome back to episode about 500 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, a podcast by crew for crew, mocked by crew, fucking sponsored by crew, joined by crew. Like, I'm starting to wonder if this is getting too big for me. Like,
Right.
I liked when it was just me and you and like one other person, and now suddenly there's just like people want to sponsor contests and competitions and post
And then
videos on our behalf. It's fucking wild. It's wild. I appreciate it.
if you think that's scary, there's something that might be coming down the pipeline that'll blow your mind. So just I'm not going to spoil anything, but just put that little nugget in your head that's just going to have you go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But
No, now I'm asking you what the fuck you
well, now
talking
I
about.
can't say anything.
You
It's
like I like you think I don't have general anxiety disorder? Like you can't do that and not tell me. Like and then the executive dysfunction kicks in and I'll just stop. I'll just leave.
yeah,
Anyway, I'm Joey. I'm Big Joey. Not lately, but Big Joey today. Um I am joined by Big Keith
howdy, howdy.
and Big Jake.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy. So should we dive right in? You guys ready to dive right in?
Yeah,
What are you
let's do it.
drinking?
Definitely.
What do you got this week, Jake?
I have a Three Floyd's Gumball Head.
Ooh,
So this is an American wheat pale ale, and Three Floyd's is made. If you know anything about craft beer, Three Floyd's is probably the best well known one in Indiana.
okay.
What happened to
It's-
the first two
it's-
Floyds? A dog. There's a dog. Everybody, there's a
Yep.
dog.
There's my
We can
dog.
take that. We can take that off the notes. I did have that as a one of the checklist of cute dog that's in background of many videos.
Yeah, he'll probably like interrupt in an hour or so, like wake up and be like, "What are we doing still awake? Why are we still up in the garage?" Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right.
I've been extremely busy the last couple weeks, so I am out of all the fancy stuff. So I just got the Mandarin Orange from Wegmans. That's my go-to. That is literally almost always stocked in the fridge, and it's the fallback drink.
I have a mango bubbly, and normally I'm not like a bubbly drinker. Man, that mango bubbly
I
hits.
like bubbly.
Like it hits.
I don't know if I had the mango.
Yeah, they really nailed it on that one.
Yeah. What are you wearing over there this week, Big Jake? I see a familiar shirt, but you want to tell the audience what shirt you're wearing this weekend?
Yeah, real quick, was that just Big Steve chiming in from work?
Yeah, yeah. He
Was he
just.
at-
I thought that was hilarious. He must
Yeah,
have
threw
saw
me
the
off.
link and jumped in. He doesn't know. It's actually the first time he's ever done that, so that's pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, I didn't know if that was like normal for someone to.
Sometimes.
Yeah, like we have that secondary Discord that everyone that's been a guest, so like there's about 50 episodes of it in there, and we post a link in there so they can get on and look. I think they don't usually open up their camera; it's usually just like the audio. But that was it always kind of throws us off. I'm like, what's going on? Like, who's this? But
I appreciate when they do, but and one thing that this is going to be out there forever, but I'm going to put it out there. I appreciate the respect that when they join, they never unmute and talk
Yeah.
over us. That is awesome, and I appreciate that you guys do that. You're welcome to join and watch any episode, but unless we invite you on, I appreciate that you don't like talk over us. That's really cool.
indeed.
Back to what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing the Strongman Throwdown at Home Gym Con athlete shirt. So I wasn't an athlete, but I was given this shirt, and
Adjacent.
this was the strongman competition at Home Gym Con just the other few days ago, which Kurt ran.
Is that
Yep,
Kurt
and,
Locker?
Yes,
Kurt Locker, yes.
fellow crew member, Big Kurt Locker. The same vein, I'm wearing my Home Gym 2024 T-shirt.
I should have seen this coming, so I'm wearing the first ever DILF Dungeon shirt.
Oh, nice! You got that made up special established.
Established 2024, because that's when I made the name.
Well,
The gym's been around for
Yeah.
years, but
I would go back to when the gym was born personally, but that's just me.
well, the gym was the pit back then because it was back in the gravel
Okay.
pit.
I
And
got
then
you.
and then on the back it says you probably owe Amy Winehouse an apology.
Puh. I don't
Because-
get that reference.
We were really awful to her. She made really great music, and we were really awful to her
So it's
before.
just an in general thing.
Oh, just in general.
Oh, okay, okay.
We
I
were
didn't
just
know like
terrible to Amy
what her
Winehouse.
and a DILF had. Okay, there's a dramatization of her life, right? That's coming out soon.
Yep.
Might be worth
Yep.
watching.
Yep. But I was watching her when I ordered the shirt. I was just watching some of her music videos, and I was like, damn, like we were so mean to her. Neil Patrick Harris had like rumor allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly. I don't want to get sued. Had like a sushi made up, a sushi platter of her dead body after she died.
It
Because
doesn't
people were just
seem
so
real.
awful to Amy Winehouse, and her music was so good. I was just when I was making the shirt, I was just feeling it.
Nice. Well, I think some congratulations are in order. I don't really, I mean, maybe other people think I do, but I don't feel I toot my horn too often. But this week is our 1 year anniversary from when we first recorded the pilot episode 52 weeks ago, roughly. I think actually the fourth might be the exact day. So like 5-4, but today's 5-2. So that's close enough. This has legitimately been 1 year that I've been looking at Joey's face into a computer screen once a week, talking for 90 minutes to 3.5 hours. And it's been a blast.
Yeah, it's interesting how close we've become. Like I think I talked to you as much as I talked to Morgan between you and Nate in the group chat.
For
And
sure.
like I talk to you guys more than I talk to work. So that's really cool. But also like how close we've become to some of the other crew.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was
Right?
probably buried the lead with that one for sure.
Yeah, definitely
52.
definitely the supportive crew is what got us here.
Yeah. So we're 52 out of like 450 approximately. So, we got about 8 more years of keeping this up. And, even if Tammy and Toner, that's not their names, don't get any more crew. I'm not the
Throwback.
one.
That was a throwback.
I think Karen got their name wrong on Let's Get Stupid last week too, or maybe the Huck Finn Barbell show. And like she said it the same way that
It
I
was
do
Huck
because it's
Finn.
such.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I say that all the time. That's good
Oh, we got to
stuff.
talk about that.
Yeah, I did a little Huck Finn meet up there. He was being typical.
Typical Tom.
Not really his scene. He got me with the. Did you watch the video? Or did you
I
watch
haven't
his? So
seen the video yet.
he had a video where they pretended that they had a booth in the back and they got people to say big boot. No, what the fuck was it? Now I can't remember what it was something. It was like 4 B's. It was like bootylicious something or other, and it was just a gag, and they did not have a booth, and they were just getting it to get someone to say like that line 4 times or 3 times in a row, and it was pretty funny. He got me, but no, it was cool. He recognized me he was like, "Hey, Keith Honeycutt," and did like a little like 30-second thing, and I mean they talked to a lot of people, but that was kind of cool. So that was interesting. I
Well,
don't know that it was his scene.
crew might be interested, and I don't know if you saw it in the Discord. When Karen was talking about the shirt, the lift heavy, eat ass
Mm-hmm.
shirt. So that's a historical shirt
Yeah.
because that's the shirt I wore to breakfast the day after the lift hard, live easy.
Yeah.
Where I thought we were going to some breakfast podunk, and we ended up in this fancy hipster place with all these families coming home, probably from church. And I'm wearing a lift heavy, eat ass shirt, and that's the historical famous shirt. And it was funny that Karen was like, "Hey, I saw this shirt online the other day," and I was like, "Oh, that's me. I'm the idiot." I don't think I've worn that shirt since. By the way, I think
Yeah, you're probably scarred by it.
yeah, PTSD kicked in. I hid that shit away.
Yeah, just give it to one of your kids. They'll like it.
Yeah, wear it to school, buddy.
Yeah. It'll go over well. Now I would support them because they did the whole like fuck you Tango Charlie shirt, and they have the one. It was supposed to say lift heavy pet cats, but it ended up saying like I think someone else already had something like that, so they went with the complete opposite direction and lift heavy eat cats,
No,
if you will.
lick kitty.
Lick cats, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't wear that shirt. Like I'm
Stop
very vulgar, but I'm not gonna
sexualizing
wear that
cats.
shirt. I'm not even. It's just like I can't.
No, that's the weird
Like,
thing. Whenever I'll tell you, Keith, and it's a thing that like I might be fucking on the spectrum for this one, but whenever anybody refers to vagina or vulva as a cat, my immediate thing is, why are you having sex with cats? Like I can't. It's such a weird. I understand that it's a metaphor for people, and like the words are homonyms or antonyms or whatever those words are, but where they're just like, I see that and I'm just like, no, like don't do that to cats. Like that's a weird. As much as I want that shirt to like support Tom and Karen,
Yeah, I'm
I
not
can't
buying
wear
that
it.
one.
I can't
Nope.
wear that because
Nope.
stop making it weird about cats.
Exactly. That's what I feel.
I actually think it's Smash and Pass, which is a friend of the podcast, the Massnomics
Mm.
podcast. Smash and Pass they've got a lift heavy pet dogs in Scottish accent, and I think they have a lift heavy pet cats.
Cool beans. Anybody get the Crispy Boy banner or the Lyft flag or the Lyft banner that came out today on the Sneaky Link?
Missed it.
I got it. I literally had like a 3:59 alarm set, and I went to go look at it, and I was like, look, I was on the website acting like it was just going to be a regular link, and I kept hitting refresh. And I was like, oh, it's not here. And then I'm like, wait, it's going to be a sneaky link, so it's just going to be on Discord. So then I hopped over to Discord, and he posted it like 4 minutes ago. I was like, motherfucker. So I must have been. I think they only had like 20 or 30. They were sold out really quick.
Oh yeah.
Like within like 5 minutes, there were people that saying like, I got too witty in the notes section, and by the time I went to go actually pay, it was already sold out, even though it let me add to the cart. So I was like, yeah.
Here's a lesson. Copy and paste your
Yeah.
witty note comment. Actually, remember when I was messaging you earlier today, and I was like I have no internet access. I'm trying to do all the show notes. I'm trying to read up and do all the research for today. It's because where I went, their Wi-Fi's down. And for some reason, it's like a hole in the cellular world where I don't get 5G or LTE. I get nothing. I couldn't even text you guys. So I just put my
You should
phone
have just
down.
went to Columbus, you know. You should have went inside the Arnold Expo, you know, where you actually have service.
I'm the only one with service.
Yeah, I think it's good stuff. Quick little thank you to Coach Carp and Big Joey E. They both hooked me up with some crew gifts over the weekend at Home Gym Con. Carp got me an awesome crew shirt in orange with like the NWO, like your Morgan's logo, but in orange.
How dare he?
I know, right? Shut up. I'm sure she gave it to us. If not, she gave it to me and I gave it to him. So, you know, close enough. And then Big Joey E hooked me up, but I actually bought my dinner one night. So I was like very appreciative of that. So thank you, sir. And that was the gifts that I got that no one gave to Joey. But I don't have a Godzilla gym shirt, so it's all fair in love and war. Nice.
What shirt? What shirt?
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
I got the red and black shirt.
Oh, Carp did send you that, or that's something?
No, this is mine.
Nice, I got you.
This is one of several, actually.
Nice. I love it.
I was waiting to unveil this actually at Tanner's party. But as soon as you said you were going to announce Carp's gifts, I was just like, the fuck he is. I've had this shirt for weeks and I've been hiding it from all of you.
Yeah, no, he was I was stoked about it. It was a very good shirt. I used that on the first session with my new log. Briefly, Joey hinted at earlier, I did spend some money this week. I picked up a Titan rackable log. Don't love the fact that it's rackable because it makes it a pain in the ass to sit it down on crash pads. I'm still learning that, but I guess if I use bumpers, it's okay. But then I got to start carrying my bumpers up from the basement and shit. So still working that out. But I did dropped about 4 times what I paid for the log on the AbMat crash cushions for logs. So those should be coming next week, hopefully. And you know, more updates to come on what else I spend money on for this strongman adventure that I'm going on.
Should we jump into rating last week's episode?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, the guests want to hear, the listeners should probably are eager to hear
it. Our take on Massnomics. Jake, did you get a chance to listen?
Oh yeah, 5 stars, easy.
Nice.
Deanna, I've never heard of Deanna Price, but damn, accomplished. Accomplished, strong as hell. Not to be confused with Diana Prince, which is Wonder Woman, which threw me off
from the TV show. Then, right?
Yeah. Every time I looked at it, I was just like, "What? Really?"
She's like 80.
Yeah. So, fun episode. Still a lot more basketball talk than I'm really generally interested in. So 5 out of 5 Massnomics iPod touches.
That's a good one. Let me see if I can't come up with one. So I think my favorite part was when she was talking about her husband and how he's like semi-injured, retired, I think, but also a strong man. And she was just like, I can't be stronger than you. Like, no matter what, no matter like how amazing of an athlete I am, basically, like, you have to be stronger than me. So I got a kick out of that. So all in all, good episode. I feel like I listened to it like a month ago, even though it was a couple days ago. These past couple of weeks have been a whirlwind. So I even had to like go back to it and like listen to it on like just like scroll through it a couple minutes just to be like, which episode was this? I'm so, because I've actually listened to like I've consumed 2 other Massnomics live podcasts since then that I'm trying to remember back, like which episode was this on? But no, it was having an Olympian was pretty crazy. Like I'm curious if they'll ever get another one of those ones. But that was very cool. I'm actually curious if anyone fact checked that to verify there was no other Olympians, because they think Tommy did a quick Google, but I don't know if anyone. I haven't seen anything in Discord, so I'm gonna guess they have not had any other Olympians. So
And
for
that we
all,
know that would be one of the Davids.
yeah, I'm sure he called him out on it.
Yeah, he would be one of the first. It's also likely now that one of the Davids is Repeatonomics. I think
Probably.
that's making itself kind of clear.
I feel like some of those, like I haven't seen as many of the meme accounts being too active as of late. Like, well, half the crew only run meme accounts, so like I guess the secondary and like third tier meme accounts that I'm more thinking of. So, but as far as Deanna Price's episode, I'll go ahead and give it 5 out of 5 Massonomics crew member Davids.
5 out of 5 Davids.
Yes.
All right. So Crispy Boy and Lift Banner sold out. Not even worth talking about. I already got through that. You
Yes,
will
sir.
not get your hands on them again. Do you want to talk about Home Gym Con briefly, or is that going to like be most of this episode?
Yeah, I think we can hit that on more. I mean, I guess I could more my personal experience, because I don't want to really take away from when we get the guests on the horn. But all in all, it was a blast. Traveled out Thursday. Thursday night, got there before it technically opened. So I was like walking around with Big Joey E a lot, just shooting the shit and just hanging out with vendors, and like just kind of, it was weird. It was interesting to see how like like 3/4 of the place, well, maybe half the place was 100% done. A quarter of the place was still working like diligently, and the other quarter hadn't even showed up. And this would have been like Thursday at like 5 p.m. So, but then to come down Saturday morning or Friday morning to see it like 100% ready, minus a couple people that didn't make it, was pretty awesome to see. It's just a great weekend. Hung out. I think I pretty much met every crew that was on the list that we had talked about, and there was a couple more that even showed up. I think there was one crew that it was a dude that I knew on social media, because he messaged me a fair amount, but I didn't think he was crew at the time, but I think he joined a crew, so he did get a follow back on all the accounts once he actually officially became crew, so that was good. It was just fun. I think it was at least 10 different crew that I met for the first time. And it's weird too, because I've met a couple guys that we had interviewed, or at least one, Joey E. I can't remember if there was any other ones that we had interviewed that I hadn't met in person yet, but I felt like I just like had known Joey for years, because we, that like 2.5, 3 hour conversation. I really got a kick that in the Massonomics YouTube video today, I didn't catch it. I might not have been there, but Tanner even called Joey E, which just made me laugh. So like that's like the trend that we set, just kind of coining him that, I guess. So I got a kick out of that. All in all, just a great weekend, and I'll chime in as we talk about Home Gym Con more with the guests. But that was just my little, had a blast.
All right. Well, it looks like we've got one last general topic I want to touch on.
You do like touching stuff.
Who the hell is Coop, and why do I care that he responded to something?
Well, Jake might know more about that than us, but not really. There was this guy, Tim, Jim Crafter, who sent a very scathing thing about Coop, more of like, we want the old Coop back, why aren't you at Home Gym Con? And I got it. Like, a lot of it did resonate, might have been over the top, maybe not, didn't agree with all of it, but felt that it was worth sharing, because not a lot of people actually call Coop out. And a lot of people are kind of afraid to call Coop out in public, because they're just afraid of the fucking Coop army, which there's a lot of bootlickers that are all of his ass that'll come after you. But Coop actually responded from his personal page, not the GGR page. Who knows if he even have that? I don't even know if he even has access to it anymore. But from his personal page, and kind of like had a good like 15-minute response, and literally went through almost like verbatim, word for word, everything he said, and kind of had a rebuttal. Or like, I can see your point to that, and I thought it was the most real thing Coop's done in like 4 years. So he actually earned a little bit of my respect back after seeing that. All in all. They did delete because I had shared Tim's video to the group, and it was a fucking shitstorm of comments in there. There was like, a quarter of the people that agreed with Tim, and then the other 3/4 were just GGR enthusiasts that were just basically telling you to go fuck yourself. And but then Brandon was getting involved, kind of coming to Coop's defense a little bit, and then even Brandon he even said like, because someone just like instantly reamed Brandon a new a-hole about something, about how his content sucks now or something. And then Brandon, as always a playful guy that he is, he's just like, wow, I'm catching strays over here. And I was just like, that made me, I was rolling. But I think I woke up the next morning, and that whole thread was completely deleted. And then I think by the next afternoon, Coop had that long response. But I don't know. Like I said, he gained a good amount of my respect back that he had lost over the last few years, at least. So hopefully we can see more of the honest side of him, and not the fake, Pillar 4 frontman.
Oh,
I
well,
don't know if Jake agrees with any of that. Sorry.
I had a cigar and a beer, and I sat in the sun and stared at the blue sky for a bit while all of that was going on.
There's not a there's not a whole lot of drama in the home gym community, so when it is, it's usually pretty
It sounds
widespread. But I don't know. I guess I did I guess essentially buried the hatchet a couple times, I guess, because I met Kayvon over the weekend, Joey's buddy, and
Oh, that's right.
we kind of shot the shit, and he knew who I was 100%, and had no beef, and it was a good conversation. He hooked me up with some bells and steel stuff. He wanted to give me more stuff, but I was just like, man, I just gotta carry on. Like I can't take any more. Like, you want a belt? And I was like, no, you got some wrist straps and some collars or something. I don't know. I can't fit a belt in my bag at the moment. My carry on sucked. It was so full.
Well, I feel like I talked over Jake for a minute there. Do you have anything to add to the whole Coop and Tim guy drama?
No, I mean, I thought Coop did a good job of the rebuttal. I thought, I met Tim over the weekend. He seemed like a really good guy. And I think he kind of went into the argument without facts, which made the rebuttal pretty easy. Not saying he was right in the first place about Coop, but I thought it was a little harsh on Coop. And then I thought Coop did a really good job, like I said, on the rebuttal. I thought that was interesting, and I think a lot of people learned more things about garage gym reviews that hadn't been made to the public, which was good. And then also, like, I didn't really think Coop's content ever changed too much. I don't watch it that much, but maybe a few sales pitches on the YouTube, it seemed like. But in general, I thought, like, if you get the Coop stamp of approval on your products, it's just such a big deal. That's why everybody is, like, eyeballing it so hard and so crucial about it. So yeah, I think he did a good job of, like, fighting back. And I doubt anybody else will challenge Coop about that
Yeah,
anymore. Yeah.
it's possible. But I think my favorite part about it was just like I see my biggest thing was like, that's fine, sell your company, great, make millions, take care of your family, great, do you?
Millions? Do you think he made millions?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. But like unlike who was what was the last company that just sold the guy was using
Barbend.
yeah, Barbend literally came out with a post, a full uh transparency about it. That's what we never got from GGR and Coop to this day, unless I missed it. Maybe I'm completely ignorant, and they made a public post saying it. Other than just the clear obvious of he went from a garage and then he went to his personal training studio and then he was in like a big warehouse and had a team and a group. Once he started saying team, then it was obvious. But like, there's people that I think literally still think that it's like 100% funded by Coop and it's just bootstrapped and he owns it all. And that's not a thing. So the fact that he actually more or less acknowledged that, it was the first time I've ever seen a public statement that he does not own GGR anymore. And I thought that was great for the community. And hopefully people can, use their own discretion on now how that, they might take it just with even if it's just the smallest grain of salt. You have to be able to take it with a grain of salt, knowing that that's, not his company anymore. He's just the face of it. I thought that was for the best. So, but we'll see.
All right. Should we get an ad read before we get our guest on the horn? Jake, do you have anything you wanna read about hear about Massonomics?
Yeah, I mean, Massonomics, Tanner and Tommy, two of the best guys you'll ever meet. Why wouldn't you buy some amazing shirts from them? And apparel line, top of the line. You know, it's about all I gotta say. Good guys, buy their shirts, buy their stuff.
That'll work.
Yeah, go to massonomics.com/join. Join us here on the Done the Crew. Don't forget your drink spotter XL. It can hold your big dumb Stanley Cups now and whatever silly stuff that you buy. Beyond that, you want to get our guest on the horn?
Yeah, let's kick Big Steve out if he's still in here, and we'll get
See,
a
I
guest
didn't
on the
even
horn.
look. No, he's not here anymore. All right, Big Jake, is that you?
Wait, why are you doing this? Like I've been here. Why are you saying just getting me on the horn right now?
Well, you are live on Unpaid and Underrated. So welcome to the
I'm
show.
here.
All right.
The telltale signs.
Yeah. So this is gonna be all about you going forward. So Big Jake, what brought you to Massonomics?
Oh, I mean, I've owned a few shirts. I just kind of wanted to get the inside scoop of what happens on the Discord channel. I've known Tommy and Tanner online for, few years and figured it was about time I support.
Are you actually? I know you're probably a busy guy. You don't know how many episodes you actually listen to, or do you cherry pick some Massonomics episodes? You're probably not a regular weekly listener, but
Yeah, Messonomics. I probably listen one a month.
it's not bad. It's more than some of our past guests, but probably less than others. But it's right in the wheelhouse, so be good stuff.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily like a power lifter or don't really live in the powerlifting world. So like some of the guests, I just they're not the most interesting to listen to, I'd say.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
especially when they got that big Keith guy on. He's been on too many times.
Yeah. But I mean I do enjoy their
next week's episode.
I do enjoy their banter. I think like you guys have this skill too to just like BS your way for like hours and hours. And I definitely think that it's a cool skill to have, something that I don't necessarily have.
But I feel like ours came with time. Like, I don't know, I could always shoot the shit, but I even like looking, I don't think I've ever listened to our first couple episodes. Like, I might, I don't know. Like, should we listen to their first episode like a year later and just see how bad and awkward it is? That's something, maybe I'll wait 2 years,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
you
it's
can.
fun. Well, Joey doesn't listen to Massonomics backlog. He's first fucking not going to listen to our backlog.
Oh, fuck that. I hate listening to our episodes because it's like it's funny and I'll be laughing along with me and you, I guess. And then I'll start like, I should have said this. I should have said this. So
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
even.
I second guess myself. I need to listen to him more often just so I have more fresh stuff for the Instagram, because I'm like, how do I make a relevant like story? I don't remember the podcast. It was like 2 weeks ago. Especially this week too. Like this, we haven't recorded in like 10 days, so I feel like we've been off for a month. So this is like, getting back into the saddle. Jake, if they wanted to find you on Instagram, where would they go looking for you at?
Most likely, I mean, you can do my personal account at Jake Jaworski, or I run this account called Garage Gym Experiment. It's not really about me, but
And you have a third one too, don't you?
at Home Gym Con.
Yeah, there you
Follow
go.
this event called Home Gym Con.
Yeah, we want to plug as many places as they can find you and support you. So go ahead and pause the episode and go make sure you follow on all three of those. At least Home Gym Con and Garage Experiment. On his personal page doesn't get a whole lot of. I was deep diving for some like dirt and questions, and I'm like, all right, there's a post from 2021 and one from 2017. I was like, okay. But you did have a GGE Jake for a minute too, and I think you decided that like 4 Instagrams was too many.
Yeah, and I also run Garage Gym Radio, and there was just too much, and the GGE Jake one, I thought there was like potential to do some things, but it was just too much, and I don't necessarily like getting on camera and self producing things. So
We're gonna make sure that this episode specifically has YouTube video, and that your face is just front and center the whole time. We're just gonna be zoomed in on. No, I'm just kidding. That's
so
way too much work.
I don't mind the long form conversations like this. It's more like the constant pressure to figure out what Instagram posts I should put from my home gym workouts.
Gotcha.
Really hard to do consistently. So those that have done that, props.
I post so many workout stuff. Like it's to the point that I'm like, oh, I gotta, get this good video for this and this good video for that, and I gotta tag my coach in this story, and then I use the stories as like a way to like archive a lot of my lists too. Like I will like I have so many different story highlights on my personal page that are like different lifts, like squat, bench, deadlift, overhead, and it's just like it's a good way for me to archive and go back and quickly look and be like, all right, cool. I was only doing like 135-pound overhead press like 2 years ago, and now it's like 70 pounds more. So win.
Hey, I have a question. Jake, are you standing right now? Like, are you at a standing desk?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey,
Wish
And
I wish I
this is-
thought of that.
So I do have a podcast as well.
Mhm.
And this is my setup.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. I wish I thought of that.
It's-
This wobbly chair is gonna kill me one day. I'm on one of those like core friendly, like you sit on it, it wobbles around chairs. It's gonna fucking kill me one day.
Yeah. Well, this is like a little workstation desk. Yeah, like it's up on a cabinet that I opened up, and kind of one of those work desks you put in your garage that I just kind of turned into a little podcast area.
I dig it. Have you been? When did you? So GGR. That's been about, or well, when I say GGR, it's going to be in this context, Garage Gym Radio. 3-4 years ago. Was that like post COVID, immediately post COVID, or like maybe like 2021? Like we're trying to think back of when we started, listening to that.
I think it's been a little over 2 years, but
Okay, so
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, because I think I was on that within the first year or so, and then that was probably within a year of starting this. So yeah, last 2 years sounds about right.
yeah.
We'll definitely have some deep dive stuff on the podcast later. But let's just dive into where where do you live? Where are you from? Where you been? Where have you taken the family as far as like living, and you guys been in the same place?
Yeah, so I've been I'm from South Bend area, so northern part of Indiana. And then ever since college, I've been in the Indianapolis area, which is central part of the state, the capital, a larger city. I'm in the suburbs now. But so I've been in Indianapolis for 13 years now. What was the vacations?
Well, yeah, just it's more. We've had some guests that have literally lived in like 30 places. So
Oh yeah, so I've been in Indiana my entire life.
nice.
Yeah.
I that would not be bad with me. Like I'm outside of my one big move from West Virginia. Like I'm content with being where I'm at as long as I can be until the old lady drags me out of here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got kids in school. I don't plan on moving
You have 2
them.
kids or 3 kids? I can't remember.
2 kids.
Okay, so
2 and 8. Yep.
Ooh, nice big old gap there. That's
Yeah.
How do they get along with that 6-year gap? Well, the 2-year-old. I mean, I guess they don't really like. How's the 8-year-old treat the 2-year-old?
They treat each other well. It's more like the biggest issue is they have like obvious like different like interest differences. So like for example, if someone wants to watch TV, it can be kind of a like, no, it's my turn. No, it's her turn. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean they love each other and get along well, but they don't really, and they do play with each other sometimes, but in general, the 8-year-old kind of like acting like a teenager already sometimes. So, but yeah, 2 little girls.
Gotcha. So then, because for anyone that's not familiar, that didn't listen to Jake's episode on Massonomics, he is full time at Garage Gym Experiment. Quit the 9 to 5, going out to work. In 2017, I believe, or at least somewhere in that frame.
2021.
Okay, well, so Garage Gym Experiment started in 2017, so then you bootstrapped it till 21.
Yeah.
And then does the 2-year-old stay at home with you all day, or does the 2-year-old go to daycare while you do GGE stuff?
Definitely daycare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would probably be hard to get your content out and run all the websites and everything while a baby on the hip.
For sure.
Yeah, you ain't getting nothing done with a 2-year-old in the house. I phoned Morgan today, and because I was phoning her on my way home from work. I have a 2-year-old, Jake, and she's just freshly 2, and all I can hear in the background is, "I go outside. Can I go outside? I go outside," and my wife is going, "No, like nobody's ready to take you out. I'm doing dishes." "Oh, okay, I go outside." "You're not going outside." I get a hat, and then she goes and puts on her hat and goes, "I go outside," and that's it was like this for like 5 minutes. You ain't getting nothing done with a 2-year-old in the house.
Not a chance.
Did you get your Massonomics Hall of Fame card in the mail? You might have missed that. I don't know if you
No, I
joined.
think I joined right after. Yeah.
Well, that was some ace time in there, Jaco. Come on, knock that one off the list of things to ask. So we got your nickname as Jaws. Is that pretty much everyone with your last name is nickname? Because I was trying to like I did a little Googling and there was actually like multiple people like there was like one of the first articles was like a coach. There's like nickname was Jaws, and I was like, okay, that's got to be a pretty common thing then.
Yeah, there's a famous football player, Ron Jaworski. He was the quarterback
Mm.
for the Eagles, maybe in like the 70s. So, and his nickname was Jaws. I don't know any other. Nobody else in my family has the nickname Jaws. Just me. I think probably because I was a football player and a bigger dude, and it just kind of fit. But I imagine there are other Jaworskis out there with the nickname Jaws.
Yeah, it's definitely that low hanging fruit that our podcast is known so well for. So speaking of football, so you not only were you a high school football player, you actually went on to play some D3 offensive line, didn't you?
That's correct. I played
Nice.
D3 offense line at Wabash College.
Nice. In is that in Indiana?
Yep, it's in Crawfordsville, Indiana.
So
It's
how far?
a small town, maybe an hour northwest of Indianapolis area.
Gotcha. So basically, still go home on the weekends pretty easily if you needed to, or if you wanted to go back to home.
For sure, if you wanted to, yeah.
Nice. Did you end up playing all 4 years or 5 years, or just what was your? A lot of people that go to college, like seldom make it throughout the whole stint of their playing years.
Yeah, I did not make it. I had to stop my junior year because of concussions.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
How's
So-
that? So you're probably what 10 or 15 years removed from that now. Completely fine health wise, or is it something you're like work with your doctors on to just make sure you're up to snuff?
Yeah, I think it was I never like really noticed any differences, but it got to the point where I was just getting them too easily. So like once you do get a concussion or two or some bad ones, then it just becomes easier to get your next one. And I definitely wasn't going pro, so like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no lingering effects, at least to my knowledge. Yeah. So
Now, this is where I would ask you again to about the same question, but I think you're a little too sharp to pick that up. We had a guest on earlier that had some concussion issues, and we basically it was just a running bit, just asking the same thing 10 times, and he played along great, and it was perfect. At first, I thought he actually like didn't remember that I asked him, and then I was like, he like tricked me basically. He was so good at acting.
To make it worse, no, Keith, it wasn't concussion issues. He has a brain injury.
Well, from the wreck, right?
Yeah,
Well,
it's called an AB. It's an ABI, an acquired brain injury. It's a little different than a concussion. In case you guys didn't think Keith was a piece of shit enough, I wanted to make sure I slid that one in there.
Fuck everybody that's got a problem with me. I don't care. What do you got for him, Joey?
I don't know. I'm seeing Love's numbers and Love spreadsheets. I feel like that's more of a you conversation.
Yeah, it is.
Tell us about
Yep.
Tell us about selling equipment during the pandemic. It sounds like you were on the good guy side of everything on that one.
selling equipment during the pandemic was the easiest thing ever. So, I mean, I personally would never like gouge anybody for gym equipment, and I didn't put up too much equipment during that time, like on Marketplace. But when I did, it was usually at a fair price, and it was just 20 messages within 30 minutes of is this still available? So yeah, I mean, it was easy. And then, also like during COVID, just like growing Garage Gym Experiment was incredibly easy because there weren't too many home gym resources. And when when that happened, there were just a handful of accounts that grew like crazy during that time.
Yeah.
There's some that even Yep, sorry.
No, go ahead, Keith.
I was saying there's some that even I feel like disappeared, like they blew up and then just like are gone now. Was a garage gym power lifter, but I think he actually had some like I think his wife passed away, so that's probably not the same story. No, but there are others that have like completely blown up and then just tanked. So that was good to. I'm sure you took a pretty big hit like post COVID. I imagine like in followers, but be able to still be as big as you are, and still keep growing. But I feel like everybody like peaked with like. Well, did you actually? I don't. Maybe I'm inaccurate. Like, did you have a higher follower count like 2021 ish than you do now, or is it about the same? Or because I feel like there was like a thing where just people just flocked to home gym accounts and then just left once they were back in commercial gyms.
Yeah, I've ever since maybe 2021, maybe later in the year, I've been right around that 200,000 mark. So it'll fluctuate between like 198 and 20. I don't know if I've hit 202 yet, but 20 like 198 to 201. So somewhere in that range, and it's not something I really keep too much track of, but it's been there since maybe 2021.
Nice. So no massive losses then, just nice.
But also no gains, yeah. No gains. Yeah.
No. I am familiar with no gains.
I was muted. Jake, did you happen to notice Keith professionally, like at a raccoon level, eat those 2 meat sticks? Were you able to see that?
I muted myself. Fuck you guys. I was hungry.
Like that was one fluid movement. He put one end in his mouth, tore the package apart, and like caught the stick as it was flying out in his mouth. Like that. I've never seen anybody do that.
It's like a baby Slim Jim, damn it.
I know. I've got a whole box of them. I love them, but like that was wild. That was like Popeye eating a spinach can. That's how easily you did that. So I just wanted to.
I'm pretty sure he was still talking too.
Yeah, he was just in the middle of it. Yeah, and he just like rip, and it was gone.
Oh, there's gonna be some there's gonna be some very vulgar memes made about this topic, you bastard. Oh, it's gonna be so bad.
How would anybody make that vulgar?
Yeah, meat stick in his mouth. Yeah, that's gonna be the podcast episode.
Oh, only you would go there, sir.
Yeah. So what podcasts are under your umbrella? I feel like there's so many, or really, so just so the listeners can know some other podcasts that you basically manage or host or support, if you will. I don't really, it's hard how to describe it.
Yeah, so Garage Gym Radio is my podcast, which is the Garage Gym Experiment podcast, where we cover more like home gym news and surveys and just general topics for like home gym, the most passionate home gym owners. Home gym history, Rob, or Vintage Weights PGH, he kind of dives into the history of strength and equipment and those sorts of things. And then Kyle, or Kaizen DIY Gym, and Nice Like Mike have the Do You Even Lift Bro podcast, where they just pretty much chat between the two of them about home gym stuff as well. And they're not really afraid to give their like unfiltered opinion, which is awesome. And they just have a good vibe as well together.
And anyone that's not familiar, like his episodes come out like 18 hours later, 12 hours later. Like I've never, well, at least the Garage Gym Experiment, the other, Rob, feel like Rob takes a month to get his episodes out from when I know he's recording sometimes. But I feel like I was on an episode once and it was literally out at like 10 o'clock the next morning. It's like, holy shit. So that is,
I don't really edit them. And the podcast is really kind of like a secondary thing. So like, it's all right if it doesn't come out perfect. It's
Good. So numbers. What did Adam mean by you love numbers? Just more of like the. Also, if anyone's not familiar, Jake does the garage on the Garage Gym Experiment usually Sunday. It's been a while since I've seen it, or at least maybe I'm missing them. We've been a little busy. He does the polls. Pick this one out of the 4, etc., and then tallies all the numbers up. So is that where he's going with, or was there a deeper love of numbers we're not aware of?
Yeah, I think that's what he's going with. I and yeah, but just haven't done it with Home Gym Con. I was pretty
Oh
busy
yeah,
and didn't
I
get the surveys
mm,
out and stuff.
makes sense to me.
But I be my career was marketing analytics
Okay, so
before I was able to turn this into my full-time job. So a lot of it just kind of transferred into some of the home gym content that's created most specifically with those surveys. Um, and just kind of like a business analyst role where you present the numbers and make a case for certain things, just like you would do in a normal job.
nice. Um, what music are you listening to when you're running a half marathon?
Just about everything. Country, rap, some rock. Um, yeah. And I'm not.
We're just,
Just,
I just hear you're a big marathon guy, and I know Joey's always eager to talk about music, so I just didn't know if there was a certain I got to listen to this when I run, this level, or I got to listen to this when I'm lifting this kind of weight, or you're not one of those anarchists that freaking podcast that listen to podcasts when you work out, are you?
I do. I listen to podcasts and I also listen to audiobooks
I
quite a
could do
bit.
I could do an audiobook more than a podcast when I work out, I think.
Yeah, so I definitely do. Sometimes if I'm like, ooh, this just isn't hitting, then I'll turn on music. And I'm also not that much of a marathon guy. I've done one marathon. Adam is the
Hey
ultra
man,
marathon guy.
I can only put on my spreadsheet with your what your people give me, and I'm working with minimal stuff, and I had to, like 90% of this is like auto populated by like me just knowing you because I got jack shit from most people. Your sister gave me a bunch that we'll dive into in a little bit, but I was kind of saving that for when we hit a if we hit a wall because she's got some stuff to ask. So numbers and spreadsheets all kind of go together with the job, and definitely helps with your current position. Um,
So I'm also a bit of a craft beer guy.
hmm
Um, and not knowing, sorry, it was Indiana, right?
Yeah.
So not knowing anything about Indiana, do you do this thing where you like when you're traveling, you specifically go and try local craft beers?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. So I'm a nerd like that too. Um, Tell me about the best time that you went to some city or some state or somewhere and you were like, whatever this is, I'm gonna have it, and it turned out to be amazing.
Um, Nothing's really coming to mind. I mean, I think like just going to Florida and getting like Florida craft beers. Those always are nice to have like on the ocean. Even though there's like quite a bit of variety of beers, just even diving through that and getting the local like Fort Lauderdale craft beer or whatever. I've always done that. See, Asheville has some good breweries. Um, I just if ever I'm traveling, I usually try and find a brewery in town
Mhm.
and drink their beer.
My town has like 5 or 6 breweries now.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I used to be on a member of one of them, but there was no ROI for me anymore because I don't want to go into the city. But yeah, I do that a lot. Just like wherever I am, I'm just like, where are these people? They're like a mile away. Let's go. Let's go have a beer at this weird place.
Yeah.
And like it's a gamble sometimes. You get our specialty is sours, and you're like, all right. I'll try one of your sours. I
I
traveled all
like
this way.
sours.
I don't really like sours at all, but like if that's what they got, that's what I'm gonna have too, right? So well, I thought I'd put that one out there.
No, it's I do not dabble in that hobby, but I enjoy people that have passions, so I will never knock someone for experimenting. I'm not the experimental guy. Give me my Mick Ultra and I'll drink 2 of them and I'll be happy.
Yep, got my
Uh,
Keats.
there you go. So Jake, actually, it's Jacob, as I learned from your sister. She referred to you as Jacob a few times, and I'm like, thinking to myself for a second, like, who the fuck is Jacob and who is she talking about? I didn't put it took me a second to put two and two together. And then like every time she's mentioned you by name, it was Jacob. So I got a kick out of that. And then I did check the DMs today from like one of her last messages. She made a little tidbit on the middle name that I don't know if anyone knew about. So do you want to share what your middle name is? And if you've ever, there's got to be a funny story with that. Like there's got to be something.
Yeah, he was born and it was his. Like, how's that a
Yeah.
funny story?
It's a unique name.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, my middle name's Valentine.
Yeah, I've never met a Valentine.
It's a hell of a name.
It is.
It is. But when you're a shy little boy, it's kind of embarrassing. And I was definitely the type of kid that like would turn red anytime anybody would say like, "Oh, Valentine." So I mean, once you get older, it's nicer to have. It's just like a nice conversation starter, or brings you some good attention. But yeah, it's definitely not like something I loved growing up because I was totally the type of little boy that would turn red. And even like, even when I was like 12 and a teenager, it's not something I love.
So you wouldn't give the name to a future son, then you're saying?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Middle names are so weird. People get so caught up in them, and like mine's Edward. My middle name is Edward. I'll put that out there. I don't know. I can see how like as a small child, Valentine is like you would be afraid to tell people that because like what are they going to say? That's not manly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it fucking is if you're a man. Like that's what makes that manly, right? So, it's a weird thing. People whenever you ask them their middle name, they're always like, "Oh, I don't want to say. I don't want to tell you." So, yeah.
I hate sharing my middle name.
Are you JVJ? Would that be your? Yeah, that's badass. That's almost as cool as Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's JVJ. No, your middle name's fine, Keith. It's your first name then.
What's your middle name, Keith?
Keith. I'm David Keith.
Oh, got it.
Yes, sir. The bane of my existence. So
David's.
So you grew up in a house full of women. How was that? Just complete estrogen, and then do you think that contributed to your shyness and just maybe not being as outgoing just because you were in a room full of women? Or how did that affect your childhood, do you think?
Oh man, this is kind of like therapy.
That's the welcome to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, buddy. This is
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really even thought about this. I feel like I need an hour
game
to
like to play. No, that's fine.
I don't know.
Keith, okay, here's my impression of Keith asking that question. Are you ready, Jake? Are you ready, Jake? Are you ready? I've never spoken to a woman. I don't know what living with a woman is like. Can you tell me if that made you the way you are?
Well, I guess for perspective, I grew up like my mother and my wife are the only women I've ever lived with, and I have two brothers and my dad, so it was always 4-to-1, like male to female ratio, and I know how like outgoing I can be and vulgar I can be. I have no. So I'm asking, I guess, more for my ignorance. I've never lived in a house with more than one woman. I don't know what that would be like.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely less vulgar. Yeah, it's not like just wouldn't run your mouth like that around them. I don't know. I mean, I see like family, like I have two little girls too, right? And I see parents with boys, and the difference is just insane. So, I mean, I definitely think it probably had some sort of impact on me. I was the older brother, maybe the protective older brother. So I don't know how that correlates to who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to.
Do you ever have to do any protecting of the younger sisters? Do you ever have to step in and be the big brother that actually like threatens to any drama that you ever had to kind of like step into?
Yeah, I don't think I ever like threatened anybody, but I don't know. No, I don't think so really. I think the presence was there though. Like my
Gotcha.
presence was there.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, at any given time, if they knew your sisters well enough, they knew that someone could it would just be tea time and it'd be time to get laid out. You want to tell everybody what you want to tell the listeners what tea time is? You don't
What's
remember you don't know what tea
what's
time
tea
is?
time?
Oh, so this for your sister said that it's growing up that you would just yell tea time and tackle them.
I must have been like 10 years old,
That's
8 years old.
we gotta, this is a comedy podcast, adjacent at least. So I don't know. So that's I guess she would have maybe she remember. Oh, I don't know. I was going off what your sister told me. She literally said it was you would scream tea time from across. Like she was animated when she told me to the two. So maybe you guys next time you see each other, maybe if your stories line up because she was like, yeah, he'd yell tea time and like sprint at us and like spear tackle us. I'm like, I don't know.
I wonder how long that lasted because I don't really. Yeah, I'm sure
Long,
I do kind of remember it,
I was gonna
but
say long enough that she remembered it.
yeah,
I
she
mean,
remembers it. You must
So,
have
I
been
wonder if
terrified.
wonder if we asked him before the concussions if he'd remember it. I wonder if
Yeah,
is
maybe that's it.
is that too harsh?
No.
Okay. So grew up in a house of women. Does anyone still call you Jakey Poo?
No.
Okay. I think there was I guess you had I don't, there was a whole story with some like a girlfriend or a crush or something and she called you Jakey Poo in like elementary school or something. Doesn't remember. Okay.
Second grade. Yeah.
Second grade. Okay.
remembers that, but not tea
Oh,
time.
yep. No tea time.
I do
So
vaguely remember tea time. Yeah.
so I got a fun game. I'm gonna, may or may not be a segment. We'll see how it lands. So it's gonna call it hardest and most fun. So I'm gonna give you some topics and you tell me the hardest part about it and the most fun part about it.
I like
Okay.
it.
So hardest and most fun, running garage gym experiment. Hardest thing about it and the most fun thing about it.
The hardest part about it is just all of the little details that go into running a business. In terms of like keeping the website up to date and staying on schedule. Those sorts of things. Just like always on might be the most difficult part. And then the funnest part is honestly just like the fact that I have my own freedom to do what I want. Just like the benefits of running your own business, and also the fact that it's like within my passion and my hobby helps as well because I truly just love this stuff. So I feel very very appreciative that I can do that.
Awesome. So hardest and most fun running home gym con.
Yeah, so I would say kind of similar. The most difficult part of the most difficult part of home gym con is either just like the last details, that those last few weeks. There's just so many little things that you kind of like have to hammer down to get right. And then also just the pressure of putting on events at a larger scale, and the fact that you're kind of bootstrapping it. It's because you're pretty much putting your business on the line every single time you take the next step. So basically everything, that happened in year one, you had to put into year two. And then this year, everything is going into year three. So if for whatever reason it doesn't work, it's over. And I'm going to go, you go back to the corporate job. So I would say that's kind of the least fun. The most fun is I would say the initial signups, seeing like initial signups when you first start a year, and then also just the event itself. It's just it's very exciting. The beginning and then also the actual event.
And I think the way you answered that might change my segment from hardest to like what did you say? The least fun and most fun, I think, is going to be the new game instead of hardest and then most fun, because I like least fun is just kind of, flows better. So least fun and most fun post things about hosting a podcast.
Least fun, I would say, is scheduling guests and trying to squeeze it in on the calendar. And then just also like my co-host Adam, he is a full-time teacher. So like we're usually and like we're both parents, so we're usually squeezing the episodes in after night. Or like after we put the kids to bed, so it's usually like 9 o'clock at night, which every once in a while can be difficult. I'm sure like it's tough on you guys too. It's just like, oh, okay, another week. Gotta suck it up this week. It's like some weeks it's easier than others. So I would say that's the least fun. But then like the most fun is just recording them. Like this is a basic answer, but once you're going, it's fun. So I usually have a good time on the podcast. They go by very fast, and it's just fun to talk shop. Whether it's with Adam or with like someone I'm interviewing.
I dig it. You guys haven't had it. I mean, do you have any interviews coming down the pipeline? I feel like most of your episodes have just been you and Adam doing the data research and stuff. You have done minimal in-depth interviews as of late, I feel.
Yeah, I would like to,
Nice.
but yeah, it just hasn't happened.
Yeah, and it goes back to the least fun part. It's just hard. Like, I mean, because at least we have the luxury of like we have people that want to be on the podcast. I'm not saying that people don't want to be, but I mean like people are in our thing to be like, and it's like a bonus to be on our podcast kind of thing. So
we have a pool. We have a pool to pull from at any time, right?
Yep. I've literally got
Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I got 12 weeks scheduled and I got 50 people on a backlog.
No, you've done what I've noticed you guys have done a really good job is like you've done a very good job of organizing the schedule. So you have a specific time each week, you stick to it, and then you schedule everybody in advance.
Absolutely.
Whereas like I'm just winging it. I'm just like, oh, come on.
I've been part of that. I've been it's like 8 o'clock the night before. Do you guys want to be on a podcast tomorrow at like 9 a.m.? I'm like, well, yeah, I guess it is Christmas vacation, so sure, I'm available. But like any other time, I'd be like, nah, I'll be at work, homie.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, that's the issue too. Like if I'm looking to chat with people like you guys who are probably working a 9 to 5, everything else has to be at night. And like, I got kids, and it's just sometimes difficult to schedule.
We definitely can relate. But yeah, we have to like we've flex. I mean, it's almost always the Thursday at 8:30, but life happens. We gotta, especially, but with our schedule, at least we're good enough to react like a month in advance. And like I kind of like I guess I'm trained at work that I pretty much have to have my vacation in at least a month in advance because our schedule is like at least a month out. So I kind of bring that mindset into the podcast of like I want to be able to give the other guys like a month's notice to get shit rearranged if we have to change a date. So Big Jake, or as I should call you, Jaws. Does anyone call you Jaws, or is that just a thing from like child or like football and stuff? Like, does anyone in your adult life now still call you Jaws?
Yeah, many of my friends still call me Jaws.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, in that vein, we're gonna play a little game of Has He Seen It? Adjacent to Has He Seen It? How many of the Jaws franchise movies have you consumed? I believe there's like 4 or 5, probably 5. There's at least 4.
0.
Really? Wow. And you're a few years younger than us, but not too much. How old are you? You're early 30s, right?
35.
Oh, geez, how the fuck have you not seen like Jaws was on TNT like every other day?
Mm-hmm.
I just
come on, man.
I didn't grow up with cable.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense, I guess.
Okay, I see. I'm gonna add a game.
Yep.
Just because that one didn't fly.
No.
I'm gonna FMK these 3 Jawses. Okay. Jaws, the James Bond villain. Jaws the shark. And the Jaws of life. F, M, and K.
Well, I think I'll marry the Jaws of life.
It's fair.
I saw that coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll kill the James Bond Jaws, and let's just say I'll F the shark.
Yeah. Here's a bonus question for Joey because he's a pretty big movie guy, I feel. What was the name of the prop shark from the Jaws movies? At least the first one.
The fuck would I know?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of random like Jaws history stuff. So I believe it was Bruce, if anyone's curious. So a relevant fact that I know. Fuck you guys.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You landed better than my last name.
What did you glaze the Jaws? Hold on.
Probably I would guess a 7.
Let's go glaze search.
I actually did just listen to I listen to a lot of podcasts like that recap some 80s movies and 70s movies sometimes, and they did. I think I listened to Jaws 2 within the past couple weeks, and I could remember pretty much line for line in that movie.
I typed in glaze search and I got a lot
Yeah.
of recipes.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Morgan
you
made
thought
that
I'd get
thing.
sexy stuff, but not. Nope, no sexy stuff. My internet knows me well. Is it glazesearch.com?
I'm not sure. I know it's got a widget or something though, I think, or it's in the favorites. So not growing up with cable, how was college? Did you get cable in the dorm room, or when did you start consuming media?
Yeah, I got cable in college, and I remember watching MTV reality shows and being like, whoa, these are crazy. There were some, oh man, who was the rocker? The Rock, Brett Michaels.
Yeah.
Brett Michaels, his dating show. I don't know. It was more just good to
So
watch
maybe
watch sports.
okay,
A lot more sports on cable. Yeah.
that's true. So did you guys rent movies or anything? Like what was your entertainment as a kid in a house without cable? Or did you not
Yeah.
have a TV?
Tea time.
Oh, we had
tea time for sure. Tea time.
Cable was just expensive.
So you had 20 years with Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC.
Yeah, we had that, and then we rented movies. You'd go to Blockbuster, and then I remember when Netflix started delivering DVDs.
Oh yeah, I did that for a few
So
years.
we definitely did that. Yeah, I mean,
okay, so
I didn't know anything different, so it was normal.
Gotcha. Word. So my wife grew up without a TV, so I'm familiar with being in knowing someone that's just stuff that I grew up watching. She just doesn't get she's only consuming. She didn't really consume media and TV until college, basically. But we'll go with play a little game Mount Rushmore if you want. So top 4. Hopefully you get a couple. So favorite movies Mount Rushmore. So top 4 favorite movies for Jaws.
Okay.
Jaws 1, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, Jaws 4.
Gladiator.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What's my maybe The Hangover, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Second one kind of took a nosedive, didn't it?
Yeah. What was the best Batman?
For the second Christian Bale one, probably. I think most people would say, right?
Yeah. Which one was that? That was
the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Maybe let's throw the Dark Knight in there. Honestly, I'm also not a huge. I like movies, but I just don't watch too many anymore. Let's see. Old school.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. A little bit of comedy, a little bit of action. That's kind of in the vein of most guys our age, I feel.
Yeah.
So a couple comedies, couple action movies.
Yeah.
I think Gladiator's on a lot of people's lists for sure.
Yeah, that was the one that if someone said, "What's your favorite movie?" for many years, that's what I said.
Nice. Well, you come on our podcast, typically you're going to ask your top four FMK.
What's
So,
what's your top four?
oh, I think I've said it. I know. So for me, the Crow, the original Point Break, Life as a House, and I'll go. I think it's The Guardian. Yeah, the Kevin Costner, Ashton Kutcher, um, Coast Guard movie. So
Got it.
a
I've seen The
little bit.
Guardian, but I haven't seen any of those others.
Yeah, they're early 90s. Well, two of them are early 90s and one's like early 2000s.
What about you, Joey?
I'd probably have to go by the ones I've bought multiple times, right? Because like with me, my favorite movie could fluctuate based on my feelings of the day.
You
So
mean
I'm
buying
probably
like VHS, DVD,
like,
digital?
yeah, I've bought them
Okay.
on literally everything.
Yep.
So,
That's I just making sure I understood.
so The Crow's on there for sure.
I need
I
to
think that,
watch The Crow.
yeah, I think so.
There's a remake coming out next year.
It looks amazing. Super Troopers is on there for sure, right? Like I probably quote Super Troopers 2 to 4 times a day, and nobody ever gets it except for like my best friends.
I've been seeing that in 20 years.
John Wick is probably on there. Now I used to really, you know what? I'm gonna have to. There's a toss up because I'm actually going through my movies on Apple because these are the ones that I bought on VHS, then I bought on DVD, then I bought on Blu-ray, and then I finally just caved in and put on Apple. So there's probably a toss up between The Nightmare Before Christmas and Mongol. So Mongol was a Russian movie about the rise of Genghis Khan. And I have probably watched that movie dozens of times. Like absolutely dozens of times. I mean, there's more. There's obviously more, right? Like
Yeah, I
Logan's up
expected
there.
so many more horror movies in there. So
No,
horror is more just to vent and relax, not necessarily like consume because you're passionate for
yeah,
the
horror.
individual movie.
Oh, I really like horror, and I'd have to create a separate Mount Rushmore for
Roger.
those. But like
Mm-hmm.
my favorite movies of all time that I go to over and over, Logan is on there. The Gray is on there. The Liam Neeson movie with the
Yep,
wolves,
yep, yep.
that's on there
Good
as well
movie.
too. But my Mount Rushmore is this big, so it's hard for me to say four. Like I would need Mount Rushmore and like a few more. Oh
Well,
fuck, Hot Tub Time Machine 2. That's another
that's
movie. I reference that movie all the time. I'll drop jokes and lines from that movie and nobody ever gets it.
do the sequel over the original. I've seen them both. I just don't remember. They all kind of, they all sound the same.
No, Hot Tub Time Machine 2 is definitely funnier than the first one.
Okay.
I remember going to see that in the theaters and being the only person in the theater in stitches. Me and my one buddy, just in stitches, and everybody looking at us like it's not that funny. And we're like, no, you're wrong. This is the funniest thing that's ever happened.
So I probably got a few more things, and we can get into a little unpaid or underrated. If there's anything you wanted to cherry pick out of it, look it over. I'm gonna ask a couple real quick. Are you gonna do the garage gym competition this year, Jake? Partake in a little gray matter lifting, garage gym competition in the garage?
Probably not.
No,
No, I've never done it.
you've never done it. Why is that?
No.
That leads me. So my next one was: Are you if you won't do the garage gym competition, you're definitely not going to do a sanctioned powerlifting meet or a strongman show. I don't. It doesn't seem like not in your wheelhouse.
I just don't train like that. I don't train powerlifting like at all. Yeah. I mean,
Well, what do you train? Okay,
I was
that's
going to
something
ask that now. Like,
I
what do
yeah,
you train?
I meant to write that down as a question.
Sorry, how do you train?
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I do a fair bit of just general lifting and then also running and cardio and I just kind of do whatever I want. I think I love working out in my gym. I've never liked the pressure of following a program. So
That's fair.
I usually don't have any. So when I do find myself following a program, I find myself dreading workouts.
That's fair.
So I'd rather just do what I want to do. I'm still like I'm still like in decent shape and happy when I work out and Yeah.
So
Like
just so we understand, are you doing like a squat, bench, and deadlift variation of some sort? Or are you like what? I know you have barbells, plates, and a squat rack. So like, are you doing all like playing with your attachments? Because I know you're always doing different attachments. So like walk me through like 2 workouts in a week, ish.
yeah. I mean, I would say like I usually um revolve a single workout around the big three. So I'm either benching, I'm either squatting, or I'm either deadlifting every like
That
a
sounds like you're
day.
training in powerlifting ish. I think you could do the garage gym competition, Big Jake. That's
I'm
okay.
I'm sure I could. I just, and I don't know. I would want to like put up good numbers, and I don't feel
Yeah,
like I would put up good numbers
I
as
get that.
compared to like where I think I should be. So um I just haven't. I don't necessarily like posting about myself either.
Mm,
Mine. So, I think what Joe does is great, and it's cool to see everyone do it, but when have you ever seen me really
I
post
know.
about myself?
No, I
I
know.
just don't really
It
do
does
it.
open you up to like not even criticism. Like people think they're being helpful, which they are sometimes, but it's just like so when I'm getting like right now I'm in a strongman and I'm taking all advice I can get, but I don't want advice from a sport I've been doing for 10 years typically. That usually comes across like not I don't respond well if someone wants to give me advice from a sport that I've been doing for 10 years, even if I'm not great at it. But like strongman, like I've had like Dodds and Scants and fucking DMing me every other day telling me to like, keep my elbows up and that wasn't a fucking clean. That was a curl. And I'm like, yeah, because when I was playing with the log, I definitely didn't like clean it properly and my biceps were hurting so bad for like 3 days. So I do appreciate the help with that, boys. But yeah, I can get not wanting to open yourself up to just getting your balls busted especially with
It's
that
not
big of
even
a
that.
following.
It's I don't want the attention.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
I
say
just
it definitely doesn't happen a lot. At least not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. Whenever I posted my lift on Twitter, those actually never did anything. Except, you get the one that's like, no, do it without straps. And then I go and I'm like, buddy, with straps, I just outlifted you by 150 pounds. Like, what? Like, why are you giving me advice? Like, so yeah, I'm not, I get it, but it could be fun. Like, even if you just, because I think on this garage gym competition, I don't think I'm gonna do a mock powerlifting meet. I think
yeah, that's
I'm gonna do some variations.
that's the cool part. Like I might do a fucking like a front squat, an overhead press, and a fucking rack pull or something. If I do it, that's the cool thing. You can do variations, and I don't know, it's just fun
Yeah,
to
I think the
be a
Dinnies
part of
don't.
it.
I think the Dinnies are gonna come out.
That would be cool for your deadlift. That would be pretty badass. So I think I'll ask my last one and see if Joey kick it back to Joey, then we'll get into unpaid. So it's kind of a two-parter. So did you personally take anything home from Home Gym Con? And what was some of the best deals you heard about people getting from the fire sale Saturday night?
The only thing I took from Home Gym Con was that ATX bar
Hmm.
that had the Home Gym Con label on it.
Oh,
Did you
nice.
see
Yeah,
that?
I think I benched with that. I think that's actually I'm in a video. Tanner's like doing reps with it. It was on their combo rack the whole weekend, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. And then Titan gave me a pair of their new collars.
Hmm.
Um,
Did Chris make a belt for you, or was that for Home Gym Con?
oh yeah, Chris made me a belt.
I saw that.
So I
Oh,
do have a
Randy.
belt.
Let's rephrase that. Randy probably did 99% of it. Chris just handed it to you.
Yeah. So I've got two Home Gym Con belts that I probably won't ever use. I want to just stack them up over the years and make probably some sort of
That'd
cool.
be cool.
Yeah. Actually
Nice. I dig it.
pretty
Nice.
cool. And then the other one is right up there, but so yeah, I think the coolest thing for me to get is like custom Home Gym Con stuff with the logo.
For sure.
So that's what I like. The best deals. So I think the best deals came from people who won giveaways and they didn't want to take it home and they
Yeah,
sold
I heard of some
for
of those.
like crazy cheap. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything. Well, I will tell you one story. So um Darko came up to like the little customer service area type booth, where we were checking people
Mhm.
in.
Yep.
And he was like, "Hey Jake, can you can you go on the loudspeaker and just say, hey, I'm selling my rack and my barbell that I bought from brand new from Rep for $400 over the loudspeaker. And my sister was right there. She's like, I'll take it. So
That's awesome.
she got a really nice rack and a bar for $400. And then I forget, someone also won the ATX GHD, and it's I think it was like $2,200. It's really nice. And my sister bought it off of them
That's
for
awesome.
like, I don't know, a few $100. So I think she scored pretty well. And then I think the cable crossover from ATX was sold for pretty cheap.
Yeah, 50 cal got that for 500, I heard,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a pretty smoking deal.
Okay, so what you're saying
Insane deal.
is drive to French Licken.
With a truck.
Yeah, with a
Don't
truck.
fly.
Hang
I with a
out
bunch of good stuff.
at the customer service desk with Jake and his sister.
Yep.
And you can just buy things at stupid cheap for all the people that
ATX
flew in.
ATX sold their entire booth for 50%. Like someone walked away with like that combo rack for like I think $1,000. Someone walked with all their plates. Their plates were even less than 50%, I think. I think Deadliest Lifts bought all their plates for like 40 cents a pound or something, like kilo calibrated plates. And he got all the Mayhem plates, I think, either free or super cheap, just for, so hey, there's some people who made some really good
That's
deals.
what you gotta do. Did I ever tell the story of how I got all my Strength Co plates?
Just helping out Grant or something to do with
No,
Grant
it was the
Arnold,
end of
right?
the Arnold that Sunday.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, come by at the end and I'll sell these cheap. And I came by, and then he was like, you buy those, I'll give you those too. And I ended up $1 a pound is pretty much what I paid for all of my plates from the Strength Co. Which, if you go now and look at the shipping to Canada, they're like, I think the last time I checked, they were like $15 a pound to get to Canada, like after the exchange and everything. So that's why I was just like, oh, what? I was like, no way. D, can you double check with that? And he's like, yeah, that's what I meant. And then I was like, give me them all. Like, give me them all.
How was that ride home?
Yeah. Slow. And then actually, I was telling that story today that I forgot when the border agent, did you have anything you needed to declare? And I was like, yeah, a couple t-shirts and stuff like that. And then as we got through, I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot those plates were in there. Like, if they measured my car, if they weighed my car, I'd be boned right now.
It'd been funny if they were kilo plates. You just said, oh, just a few kilos in the trunk. That would be not the best thing to say.
I'm guessing you don't cross the border very often.
No.
You would not say that.
No, I don't think I haven't been to Canada in a decade.
You would definitely not say that sentence. The Canadian border is harsher than the American border, to be honest with you.
Cool beans.
All right, you want to move on to unpaid and underrated?
Yeah, you want to explain the game to him?
Yeah, so essentially, we're going to give you a list of topics. They have been handpicked for you, and we have to choose if they are unpaid, which is, of course, not a great thing, or if they are overrated.
Underrated.
Fuck, see, why do you have me explain this game? You have such a good script, and then you hand it to me, and I get it wrong.
I feel like I've talked 90% of the episodes. So.
Unpaid or underrated. All right. And of course, you can't ride the line. You got to pick a side.
Yep. And if you have some of these are set up for I want to hear a story with it. So don't just tell me the thing. I want to hear druthers and then tell me the story of why we asked. Not all of them will have that, but some of them will. I'll kick off the first one. Unpaid or underrated, having your friends and sister run away from the cops at college.
Unpaid.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was I heard the story on her end. I want to hear the story on your end, I guess, of your sister and your buddy and some of your friends were all out pre-gaming, and then
walking to a party and cops came, and I think we were 19 or 20, and cops came and people ran. I actually wasn't there. I was like a couple blocks behind or something. So, yeah, people ran. One person got caught. They went to jail. pretty much ruined the night. So definitely unpaid.
It's kind of how I guess the only difference was she made it sound like you guys were all right together, and you just like froze and didn't run or move, and they all took off. Like she said, like she went in like great detail of like people jumping over fences and shit and just sprinting away
Right. So
from
I wasn't there. I think I was a couple blocks behind. I
I
think the
gotcha.
people that froze and didn't move, I think they just like walked away because the cops went after the people that ran. Yeah.
And I'm assuming the guy just got would he just get an underage consumption, or do you get like a fleeing charge?
Oh no, he got a resisting arrest.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not cool.
Yeah.
So
All
that does
right.
definitely sounds unpaid as hell, I guess.
Very unpaid.
Yeah, when the fuzz shows up, don't cheese it.
Oh, my second one. Let's go with selling t-shirts and fulfilling the orders yourself. Unpaid or underrated?
Unpaid. Man, it is a pain to do that. Unless you're like selling at mass and you have like a rhythm going, then it is, you get an order every 2 days. It's like, do I do this now or do I wait for the next order to come in? And before you know it, it's a week and that order's still sitting there. And yeah. So,
But you also know that if you do that one right away, one's going to come in immediately after you've walked away.
yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
no, I know that. I know that.
And they're also just, it's, that I have like ton of respect for Massonomics guys for making it a success. I think they have the right like formula with a designer and also just like this, a marketing kind of machine behind it to where and they've been consistent with it. But if you're just making shirts every once in a while and not going full throttle, then it's most likely just a waste of time.
Yeah.
And also they're not, unless you're marking it up like crazy, it's tough to profit because shipping and if you're getting good quality shirts, like if you're not ordering enough, like if you order like 20 to 40 shirts from a quality shirt manufacturer, you're probably paying like $18 for them, which means like you have to sell them for 28 to make $5 of profit after shipping. And if you sell 20 shirts, that's $100. So like
if you factor your time and you lost hundreds of dollars.
right. And then you got to buy the shipping materials. And most likely you can't just buy that specific amount of shipping materials. So you're buying extra. So you really, unless you're all in, it's an unpaid. Yeah. I do unpaid.
And then this year you sourced the 2024 Home Gym Con shirt, and I'm assuming the Strongman Throwdown shirt out to Barbell Voodoo Barbell. What is it? What's this?
Correct.
You plug them, and now if someone wants to buy this shirt, is it available on their website now? Because I think I bought one of the first ones because he had to dig out like this Tupperware with a couple hundred shirts in it, so I didn't know if he's going to toss that on the website or if he like fire sold those on the end of the night.
No, I have them. So I've like
so we got to reach out to Jake.
So I bought 200 shirts, sold probably 100, and then I get the rest. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
A lot of giveaways, but like bulk give. I don't know. It's like, yeah, because you don't want to individually get stuck shipping 100 shirts over the next year. So yeah, I don't know. Have fun with it. I would assume that you just honestly just give them to him and give him the link and have him or give them back to Barbell Voodoo and then just share the link out and have him just sell it and keep all the profits at that point. Just take it off your plate and still get your shirt out a little more.
So I tried to just have them do it and just keep all of the profits.
Yeah.
And just say, you guys just make the shirts and handle it. But they weren't interested. I think they've had some bad experiences in the past as far as like the t-shirts just don't sell.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I didn't think about it like that.
So I bought them up front and guessed. I thought they'd be more popular than they were. But I think they were too expensive.
Yeah, they're 28 and I don't want to shit on them, but like last year's printing, this is more of like the I don't know how whatever, like it's a different printing technology than the one last year. Last year's it felt a little more like part of the shirt. This one's just kind of like a printed on vinyl logo. Still a good quality shirt. I mean, it's comfortable, very comfortable shirt, fits well. They definitely use the right blank. You know, our sister podcast is still struggling with that 7 years, going on 8, 9 years later. They still can't get the right blank, but it's definitely a good blank.
I can feel Tanner fuming from that sentence. Into the same blank.
All right, so my third one of unpaid or underrated. Let's go with owning 20 plus barbells, and correct me if it's closer to 30 or more.
Yeah, I don't own as many as I want, but owning 20 plus barbells is also unpaid.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare, to be honest with you.
It is a nightmare, especially if they're all like different specialty bars. You know, I have like maybe 15 in my garage right now, and I'm looking to shed a few. But yeah, having too many bars is just a pain, especially with, you know, especially if many of them are similar.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would say to anybody who has too many, just get rid of them, use what you have, and you'll realize it doesn't make that big of a difference. But yeah, I mean, it also just takes up a lot of like precious wall space if you're going to hang them like that. And yeah, it's just a lot of kind of waste.
You gave me a very good meme idea, which isn't great in the middle of a podcast, just so you know.
Memes are good.
Not that it's not your fault. Just now my brain is hyper focused.
We'll just make a memo and then get to your unpaid or underrated, because that wraps up my 50% of those. And I'm glad. I was expecting you to go. You're such a neutrally kind of guy. I wasn't expecting you to take such a hard stance and unpaid. So I'm glad you made it easy on us. I was afraid it was going to be all underrated.
All right. I'm going to go with the first one, and I think it's the one that we can relate to the most: managing multiple Instagrams.
Let's change it up. I'll go underrated. I would say, you know, it is my job, and managing multiple business accounts can be exciting because, you know, it keeps the action flowing. You have, you know, DMs coming from both sides. You have planning to do on both sides. So I'll go underrated just because it's where the action is.
Indeed, I have mine. I often check in on unpaid and underrated, and then I have a third secret one that.
Ooh.
Oh, it hasn't been updated in months, so I wouldn't be that worried about it. But
are you one of those meme accounts that follows me?
No, I know. The last thing I would do is follow you on a secret account.
Probably out there doing a bunch of political shit on Instagram since you got rid of Twitter.
You fucking imagine? Yeah, I gotta go out there and make people mad. Oh yeah, that actually takes me back to Tanner's impression of Tom, and I was like, he sounds like Tony Clifton, like Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman playing Tony Clifton. Yeah, nobody caught that, I don't think, in the Discord. That is what Tanner's impression of Huck Finn is. It's just Tony Clifton. All right. Okay, unpaid or underrated, Louisville.
Underrated.
Did I say it right?
That was some debate. There were some people saying, I think it was on I don't remember where somewhere on Instagram. It must have been on one of the home gym things. Anytime someone said Louisville, there was like some debate on how much
somebody mentioned it. Somebody mentioned it in our Discord.
Louisville.
Okay.
You're supposed to say Louisville. Something like that. Louisville.
Yeah. So I feel like Karen would say Louisville. But as a Canadian, I would say Louis.
I say Louis.
I'll even go even forward and say Louisville. Fuck all of you. I'm gonna trigger everybody. Louisville.
Oh God, I just puked my mouth a little. That's how. I mean, that's phonetically what the word is, but
good.
I don't know. Lowville is not like that's like fucking that's worse than saying pillow.
No, it's like New Orleans, right? It's New Orleans, but it's pronounced Nolans, right? Like you even go further and say Nola if you want to be a nightmare, right? So like you can just say things from where they are. But anyway, unpaid and underrated Louisville.
Yeah, I think it's underrated specifically for a convention spot. It is, you know, everyone who isn't within an hour driving distance is going to complain, but it is centrally located. It's I believe it's like 10 minutes from an airport, and it is the downtown is bigger than most, but it's not as big as like some of the biggest cities in the US. It's got a nice vibe to it. You know, there's a cool bar scene right next to the convention. There's plenty of like other. It has its own like kind of vibe, I should say. And it's a good place for people to meet in the summer. So, yeah, I'm gonna go underrated.
Nice. So just break the news for anyone that hasn't seen it on Instagram. Where will Home Gym Con 2025 take place next year?
In Louisville,
There we
in
go.
the last weekend of June.
Perfect. And it is the convention, like, it's just the one convention center, right? It's like, because I was driving back, like, it's the one you see 30 seconds before you pull into the airport. It's like the huge, massive building on the right, or is it one portion of that? Because it looked like it was like multiple complexes of the convention center. It was kind of hard to, like, driving by it at 50. It was kind of hard to take it all in.
So it's right. It's not right next to the airport. It is
Okay, it's
down.
not that one.
It's downtown. It's the Kentucky
Okay.
International Convention Center.
Okay.
It's right on 4th Street, which is the bar scene I was referring to. It's kind of like the
Okay.
you hear Broadway for like Nashville as like the bar strip. So this 4th Street's pretty well known as
Gotcha.
well if you live within the Midwest. It's like a place to go. And it's a freshly renovated building, and it's big, but um it's not like some of the biggest in the country.
So how much bigger, how much more square footage, or like percentage wise, is it going to be bigger than the floor that we had in French Lick?
I think I think about 4 to 5 times
Oh,
larger.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is a big one. Oh, that's a lot. That's like, because French Lick is like a football field, like literally. So that is a
Yeah.
lot of space.
Hmm.
Sweet. Well, that hopefully that
Okay,
it'll definitely be
so
a big change. Yep.
my question would be, is the goal to move Home Gym Con constantly, like have it be revolving, or do you want to eventually find your forever home?
Um, I think we wanted to move every,
Mm,
but
okay.
I
Yep.
don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Like we might do Louisville and just love it. Um, but I think we want to. I don't know. I don't imagine it's going to be in Louisville every year. So
Because booking, like these big places book 2 years out, don't they? Isn't that why you had to kind of go with the change up the date a little bit? Or is that
yeah, so I would say if I wanted to find another spot, I would need another spot for 2026.
Mhm.
I probably really need to start looking.
You
Shoot, I'm looking at the date.
need an
Like
assistant.
like within the next 4 or 5 months. But it's just so hard because
Hmm.
because like
You got to see how Louisville
you
pans
got to
out.
see how
And
Louisville goes.
yeah,
Yeah.
if we don't, like, if you're going to 4x the venue, but we don't 4x the attendance, it's like, you know, you kind of,
I think we will. I
even,
think we will. Yeah.
yeah, being next to an airport should help for sure. So, and Coop, the Coop talking about it a little bit couldn't hurt. At least people are more aware of it now, if anything. So,
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
All right, so what we're saying is Home Gym Con Canada's coming up.
That
That'd
that
be
is the
awesome.
annoying thing. Everyone, all the people that like want, I don't know, like when we post something about it on social media and it actually doesn't get deleted immediately, everyone's just like, oh, I would so come to that if it was a minute from my house. If that was 5 minutes from my house, I would love to go to that. Why don't
Yeah.
why don't why don't why don't you have that in Texas? Why don't you have that in California? It is is there just a version of this in California? And I'm like, motherfucker, this is like a year old. Like, no, like fucking know
Right.
where it
And
is. Shut the fuck up.
and also, no, you won't.
Yeah,
Shut up. Like honestly, part of the reason I'm not good on social media is whenever I'd go to that if it was around the corner from my house, I'd go, no, you wouldn't. Like, no, you wouldn't. You're lying. You're
I
lying.
mean, yeah, I mean, you ask people where they should be, and they're like, they literally every time you ask, it's where I live. It's
Yep.
like Abilene, Texas. Abilene, and it's like truly every area does have a like convention center
Mhm.
that could potentially work. So that's what people think, which like it's totally understandable. But
So
you know,
some insight is I've ran events here in my city. I did charity work for years. I did volunteer work and even some paid work. And no, they're not. They're not going to show up. People on social media are not showing up. You would have 700 guaranteed yeses on Facebook, and 100 people show up.
yeah.
So this whole thing that was like, if it was around the corner from my house, I would go. No, you fucking wouldn't. Like, I don't believe you. I'm not moving my event for you, and you're not coming. Like, I'm aware of that. That's all I was trying to say. That
Yeah.
you
No,
can move
you're
it. You can move it every year to a different state, and the people that go, if you were in my state, I'd show up. They're not showing up.
no, you're right. And I mean, I had some local friends that lived in Indianapolis. I was like, hey, just come on by. Here's a free ticket. They didn't come. So like
Sucks.
it's it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
you can't make those decisions based off of one-offs.
Yeah, and yeah, at risk of getting political, bots don't buy tickets. So
They don't.
you get your social media Instagrammers, your Twitter people, your Facebook commenters, your all that. Those like they're not showing up. They're not to your political event, to your volunteer event, to your charity event. They're not showing up. Okay, last one. You ready?
Ready.
Unpaid or underrated? IPAs.
Hmm. Unpaid. They all just kind of taste the same.
They do. They taste like what do I always say? Grapefruit farts.
Yeah.
The asshole
I
of a grapefruit.
Yep.
I mean, I like IPAs, but
Mhm.
I would have to say, yeah, unpaid.
But they don't now. Do they fall under the craft beer umbrella? Or are they like a subsect? Or are they completely
No, they're
different?
the only craft beer.
They're the
Oh,
only craft beer most people drink.
okay, so they are a craft beer. They're
Because
just like a
they're
niche in craft beer.
it's because they're often like in Canada 7 to 10%,
Mm.
right? So you drink one. So I'll usually start like if I'm having a day where I'm like I'm getting a buzz, let's go. I'll have an IPA at the beginning, and it'll be a 7 to 10% IPA, right? And then I'll move back down to my 4 or 5% Keiths, right? And that's where IPAs. They just some of them are okay, but they all in some form or another taste like a grapefruit fart, like pine sol, a little like pine sol.
I wouldn't go that far. I like the taste, but again, they're all the same. They all
Yeah,
kind of taste.
I enjoy an IPA. Keith's is not a
Yes.
true IPA. Keith's actually transitioned into a lager about 100 years ago, but definitely would say, yeah, they're not as great as people think they are. So I would agree with you on that one. Unpaid. Well, it looks like you passed unpaid or underrated.
Awesome.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have anything to hit us with? You got any questions for us? If you need some time, we can hit some of our affiliates real quick if you gotta prepare your thoughts. So I'll do that real quick. So everybody, go ahead and help Unpaid and Underrated Podcast grow and fill our pockets. We can buy that speedboat soon. So Obsidian Ammonia, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, and I guess Home Gym Con 2025. I believe it's already live. You can buy tickets. I think I've already got a couple, at least maybe, I don't know if my friends actually bought the tickets or took screenshots using code unpaid and didn't actually pull the trigger, but code unpaid will save you something on all those affiliates of ours.
Yeah, Keith, I think I owe you some money for people using that code.
That's all right. We'll just let it roll over.
Just send him a free shirt.
I think a few people have already bought it this year too with your code.
Yeah, I believe. I'm curious.
What do you think about the move to Louisville?
I
know yeah,
I'm a creature of habit. Like getting to French Lick sucked. Like the travel sucked, but like, does Louisville, if I have to now, you still get a rental car and then drive 10 minutes or just Uber, like, I don't know. The all-inclusive aspect is amazing in French Lick. Being able to walk from the hotel room down to the convention grounds and go back up to my room like 3 times a day and unload my backpack if I wanted to was awesome. I don't think that that's going to be the setup in Louisville, but I can adapt if I have to. The timing might be what kills it for me next year. If Lift Hard Live Easy 2025 is a thing and it happens, it'll be July 20th ish.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I can spend like half of my vacation in like a 2-week, like a 3-week period, because like I only get so much vacation, and if I don't spread it out and I don't have the ability to like mentally recharge to deal with the morons that I deal with, like I don't like, that's my biggest reservation of why I didn't already pull the trigger on a ticket, is like I got to see what Massonomics is doing, because I justify spending $4,000 in a month basically and like eat up half of my vacation in like a 3-week period and then have to just work the rest of the year. That I don't know yet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have some. That is the only reason I haven't pulled the trigger and haven't. Last year we bought our tickets like immediately. This year I got to just kind of see what other stuff is going on. But I don't know. Change is not always bad, as people tell me. I'm still waiting for that. But I have been good about the last couple of years. I've had more change in my life than ever in the last few years, so I've embraced change. Louisville, I will. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, like the French Lick setup, I think, that French Lick setup, if you could move it anywhere, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe a bigger exhibition hall. But other than that, it was pretty ideal because everybody was connected and
being able to go to the same
pretty much
bars
one
at
room,
the hotel. Yeah.
Or same bar. Yeah.
That just made it convenient. Like, that was one of my funnest things. I was like drinking beer with Tanner and Tommy. Joey E was there. Mike, Kaizen. There was like Mark. Like there was like 6, 7. Like there was a whole row. Like the guys from Rep and their team. Like those swinging those chairs that like were doing 360s right in front of the screen at in front of the big TV at one of the bars. There was just like, we just took it over on a Friday night. I think it was just awesome to look down, like to where like I don't know that we can recreate that if we're like fighting just like regular bar people in a random place if it's not super organized. But so I'd be curious on what you can put together as far as like organizing stuff, I guess, post show, just so people are like know to like, all right, we're gonna like conglomerate here.
I think what I'm thinking is, instead of dinners, is like rent out room for happy hour.
That'd be cool.
I think that's what we're going to aim to do. I don't know if that's possible, but that's the goal, to do that instead of like the big kind of fancy dinners.
Yeah, I like the dinners, but yeah, it was very, very hard to, like, I feel like the first night we ended up kind of running short on food both nights, but I think it's because they let people go get seconds before people got there. So I was like, that's kind of like the catering people should have been more aware, I guess, that there's like people coming still.
So I think the issue was everybody just loaded up on meat.
That's true.
Shocking.
Those short ribs were the best meat I had. Well, I was just gonna say the best meat I had all weekend, but I'm gonna stop myself before you guys pick on me for saying that one. But that was good food all weekend. But I don't know. Louisville, I mean, you had to grow. Like, it sounded like you had people that wanted like triple the space that they had. It seems like, so if you can't give the vendors the space they want, something had to give.
What I mean, if I could have kept in French Lick, I would. if not, someone else is going to do home gym con at a bigger city and beat me to it.
Yep.
So you got to adapt or die. So
I see that. Yeah.
yeah.
What was your feedback? Yep. Did you get good? I mean, did you get positive feedback from all the vendors for this year as far as the turnout?
Man, I haven't received any negative feedback at all.
Love it. I asked a lot of people, like, just, people that I was on first name basis with, like, you happy with it? Like, because it was hard to gauge, like, because there was so much more shit there that it was hard to, like, gauge by, like, the rows of, like, how full it was. Because I think there was just people in and at booths, and there were so many booths that it was, like, hard to be, like, I don't know if there's, like, 200 people here or 300 people. Like, I couldn't, like, grasp the amount of people. Like, I know you told me how many tickets were sold, but
right.
But yeah, every vendor I talked to seemed happy.
Yeah, and then I think everyone, there was always a large group near the competition. So
yeah,
I think the flow wasn't quite as great as I would wanted, but
yeah, I think the competition kind of killed Bells of Steel and Swing Sesh, like their ability to like be seen by everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Well, maybe they should have contributed some banners or some advertising to the competition. Just saying, that would, that's what, at the Arnold, that's what Grant tried to do. He tried to put his plates in the animal cage. And Rogue interrupted, right? But that would have been prime for Grant. The Strength Co booth promotes the animal cage as well, too. So, maybe Bell of Steel could have contributed some, I'm just saying. But
I think Bells of Steel, Kayvon spent a lot of money that weekend. I gave him props for bringing out Gluck and Winnie and
listen to you defending Bells of Steel.
Well,
I think they had a pretty good weekend.
I know.
No, he was happy. I think he was happy just to get his team there. He was basically saying that like his team has like never all been in the same place. He's never actually like the guy, his engineer actually hadn't actually seen a lot of the products that he's actually engineered and like drew up the blueprints for. So that was kind of neat to like.
That is so cool.
Isn't he from like Poland or something like that?
Must be.
I forget where, but yeah.
So that was cool that he brought like as many people as he could in. But yeah, did you have a chance to come up with anything for us?
Well, I asked you about Louisville.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was, I guess, that was here. I was thinking that was just a segue on yours. But yeah, so he asked me a question and nothing for Joey, and it sounds like we're good. I'm just kidding.
I've been like the third week in a row where people are like, I got nothing for you, dude.
Everyone's like, I mean, I do all the scheduling, so I just tell people not to ask you anything, just as like a recurring bit.
Who's been some of your guys' favorite podcast episodes for Massonomics?
Oh, I like the call-in episodes because then it's like I got to hear my homies on the phone. Like that's, and then when I meet some of those people in person, it's just like, oh, I've already, similar to the vein of our podcast of like I've heard them talk for 1 or 2 minutes on their podcast, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But as far as interviews, oh God, I'd have to deep dive.
I love Dr. Mike. Love Grant whenever Grant's on. Grant is so us. Like Grant is so crew. He's so
he is scheduled.
Yeah, he is scheduled. But he's so Discord crew that having him on, it's almost like you're trying to keep up with the amount of internal jokes that Grant makes when he's on Massonomics. It's almost exhausting. But yeah, Dr. Mike is probably my favorite person to listen to. Pa O'Dwyer is one of the few people who
I love him.
Never heard of him. Obviously.
I didn't either.
And then he's on here, and I was like, this dude's the best.
I watch his shit every day.
Yeah, every day he posts, and he was like, wow. And I'm like, yes, like I'm so into the wow. And so, yeah, I'm hoping he does well at World's Strongest Man today. I'm pushing to get Mitchell Hooper on, and in between me messaging Mitch and Massonomics messaging Mitch, it's probably going to happen. But it's taking a while. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Oh, quick follow up on that. Like, hopefully Grant can see the value in home gym con next year, and it'll be a little spread out from. I'm assuming one of his reasons of not wanting to go was it was just right on top of the Arnold and all that. But hopefully being a couple months later, he'll have less reasons to when we talk to him, actually, I'll put him on the spot and kind of bust his chops about it here. I think I have him in August. I think he'll be on the podcast, I believe.
Oh, hopefully he signs up by then. Yeah.
Everything's so, oh my God. Like we have Barefoot coming up, and it's actually
Oh,
here.
So Barefoot was supposed to be at Home Gym Con, and they didn't make it. So I'm curious. I don't know if
Oh,
Jake knows anything, or we'll get it from them firsthand in a few weeks or months, whenever it is.
They just said they had things come up and they couldn't make it.
Stinks.
yeah, I saw that they were on flights somewhere, so I assumed that it was something important. But yeah, that that's coming up too. Like we have such told you 2024 was going to be fucking huge for us, and I wasn't lying. We got Siri,
Yes.
we got Grant, we got Barefoot. Having Barefoot's on going to be is really fun because I'm on their
I'm gonna leave
Discord
that.
as well.
I'm gonna leave that one for you for all the show notes. I'm 100% that's in your hands.
I'm
I
on
don't
their
know. I have
Discord as
never met
well,
them. I don't
and
know them.
I'm asking questions and stuff like that in there. And then actually, I emailed customer service at Barefoot because I thought one of my shipments was supposed to ship. And I told customer service, and I was like, I've been asking Blake, but honestly, I feel weird bothering him. Can you tell me the status of my order?
And it
And
is Blake.
literally, customer service goes, "You have access to Blake?"
Oh, nice.
And I was
That's
like,
funny.
yeah, like, doesn't everybody? But no,
Mhm.
it's because of the Massnomics connection that like he even listens to me. So that was pretty cool.
I dig it.
All right. Well,
You guys want to bring this in for a landing, gentlemen?
I think we can do that.
All right. Well, we hit on all the affiliates.
Yep.
Instagram, Unpaid and Underrated Podcast. Website, unpaidinternpodcast.com. We do have a YouTube. Please go join that race for first comment. That is
Yeah.
a very slow race. And one of these days, that's like obviously we can talk about the podcast in Discord, but it's just, it's cool to see more comments over on YouTube and some likes. So please help us out over there. Where can they find you at again, Jake?
At Garage Gym Experiment.
Love it. Big Joey.
At Joey_Malesko, MLECZKO. Don't look me up on anything else. Hey, you know who else didn't show up at Home Gym Con that probably should
do.
have? Is Big
I
Matt.
do.
Big Matt, mostly squat videos, backed out of not only the podcast tonight, but out of Home Gym Con.
How dare he?
Yeah. We actually owe an explanation. So nobody's listening at this point, but we're gonna say it anyway. We were supposed to announce the winner of our
Were we, though?
competition tonight.
The rules were confusing.
To who?
was-
Anyway, we will
we-
make a social media announcement the day that this podcast lands.
That works.
I
That
think
gives us
I think that's what our end goal was for the battle for the breaker. Beyond that, just follow Massnomics, join, and what else? Is that it? Is that it?
Well,
Hey, actually, Jake, is there anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Nice. So Keith Honeycutt 73. Go follow my Orange Gym, the No Wine Cellar, and until then, we'll see you next Tuesday.